So on April 5th, I was part of a four-ship of F-16s going up to Indiantown Gap to practice some air-to-ground simulated drops. We had a northbound departure, and of course, Washington, D.C. is just to the north of us, so the departure calls for an aggressive left-hand turn to the west, which is the direction that we were going that day. Upon level out to the west, I was told to rejoin on my flight lead, and I was going to rejoin on him to the left about 1 nautical mile. Unfortunately, as I was rejoining on him, the jet starts accelerating uncontrollably, and I'm trying to troubleshoot that with my throttle, seeing what's going on inside my jet, and as soon as I start realizing that there is something wrong with my jet, I'm over Old Town Alexandria. And my engine gives out, and keep in mind, I only have one engine in an F-16, so I'm basically a glider at that point over Old Town Alexandria. The training kicks in, and I need to go through my critical action procedures, which we need to know like the back of our hand. One of those procedures calls for me dropping my tanks. I have two external fuel tanks that carry roughly 370 pounds in them each. Gallons, sorry. That's a big difference. So I elect actually to pause on dropping those tanks over Old Town. Of course, there could be a lot of damage there. And I elect to drop those tanks over the Potomac. It sailed slightly long, but fortunately didn't hurt anyone or damage too much property. At this point, I'm turning left to try to get back to Andrews Air Force Base when my number 3, or I shouldn't say my number 3, but the flight's number 3 tells me that I'm on fire. So I have no engine, and now I'm on fire. So I need to go through those critical action procedures in order to take the fire out of consideration. So I bring my throttle to the idle cutoff position, and so now I have no opportunity to restart my engine, even though it comes to find out the engine wasn't going to start back up anyways. It was a catastrophic engine failure. It was a beautiful day. You could see for miles, which definitely helped. But I could see Andrews Air Force Base, and I was drooling, trying to to motivate the jet just to get to Andrews Air Force Base, and I came up a little short, as everyone knows. But as soon as I start the transition from knowing I'm not going to make it back safely to I need to eject and ditch this plane somewhere, that was a very surreal moment in my life, not knowing exactly what's going to happen next. So I look outside the aircraft, and I'm trying to find the least populated area, knowing that this is one of the most populated areas in the country. Fortunately, I'm able to find a pretty large-sized field, and I was very thankful to find this field. So I point the jet a little bit more south in order to get it lined up with this field. And my controlled ejection altitude is about 2,000 feet. Come to find out that I went a little below that and ejected around 1,500 feet. I just really didn't want anyone hurt. That was kind of my biggest concern there. And so I eventually ejected. The jet landed just a little bit to the left in a wooded area. I couldn't have placed it any better. I mean, some fortune there for sure, in the middle of two neighborhoods. So very thankful for that. And I actually landed in the field that I wanted the jet to land in. And I was approached by a few different people in the community that day. And I truly didn't know if everyone was unharmed, if any property was damaged or anything like that, until I was in the hospital and my wife came and told me that she was notified that not one person was injured, and it was a blessing. It was a blessing. Absolutely amen to that, because I don't know how it would have been much more difficult to have to deal with that as well. So I was very fortunate for that to be the case. And with all that said, although I'm the one standing up here today and I was the pilot of that aircraft, I need to emphasize that it was 100% a team effort from the other 3 experienced pilots with me that day to when I landed. We have the U.S. Park Police helicopter on the ground within minutes, which allowed me, I didn't have my cell phone on me, allowed me to reach out to my wife, who was out walking the dog, fortunately, and wasn't able to see the news. So I got to her before the news did, which helped out at home. I had firefighters on scene within minutes, police officers on scene. The community outreach from this past weekend when all the news stations ran with the story, and going back to that day when all the news stations were running, just showing the community in Prince George's County that